Hi there. Thanks for your interest in my seminar called Where Most Families Go Wrong with Their Finances While Raising a Family. My name is Doug Canning and I'm a certified financial planning professional, and I've been working in this career now for over 23 years. Over the years, I have often thought, why don't they teach money management in schools? Probably one of the most important skills, and it's just not taught. Recently, I came up with the idea to put together a seminar that teaches parents what to teach their kids to get them on track early in life. Plus, in the seminar, I show where most parents go wrong with their finances while raising a family. By combining the two topics, I can now supply parents a guide they can teach their kids and help the parents avoid some of today's financial pitfalls. First, let me give you a sample of the content. A couple ways you can do this. You can Google Money and Youth and check out online the book that everyone receives for free if you attend my seminar. The book is called Money and Youth: A Guide to Financial Literacy, or I also have it available for free on CD if you prefer. My seminar is an hour long and is jam-packed with great common sense ideas on how to avoid financial mistakes. Let me give you an example. You're going to learn about TDS, quite potentially the most important financial calculation you need to know, and where most families make their biggest mistakes. TDS stands for Total Debt Service, which is a formula the banks use to calculate how much money you can borrow. A simple breakdown is they add up your monthly mortgage payments, other liabilities that include 3% of outstanding credit card balances or unsecured debts, your property tax, heating cost, and strata if you're part of one, then divide it by your total gross income. When this video is finished, there's another video on just TDS, which will give you a more detailed presentation on how to calculate your TDS. You should view it after this. One of the biggest traps I see families get into is their TDS gets just a little too high, and it prevents them from creating more wealth because it squeezes their cash flow a bit. It's super important you learn how this works and pass it on to your kids. The difference it will make will have a profound impact on both your financial future and that of your children. Each firm has a maximum TDS they will allow you to go to. Investors Group is 40% for a conventional mortgage. In my opinion, this percentage almost completely eliminates the family's ability to create wealth. It has been my observation as a general rule, of course there are exceptions to the general rule, but families with a TDS of less than 20% usually always have money in the bank, normally no credit card debt. If they do, it's small. At the end of the month, the chance of having excess cash is good, and they can invest a good amount annually if they choose to. In other words, less than 20% TDS typically means financially that family is doing reasonably well. At 25% TDS, my observation has been that you should still have the ability to invest monthly, but there's less excess funds at the end of the month. There's nothing to worry about at 25% TDS, but it's just a little tighter. At 30% TDS, your ability to invest monthly is affected adversely. You are getting a lot closer to living paycheck to paycheck. Although 30% TDS is very manageable and you're probably making ends meet, it is certainly a lot tighter though, and usually saving money at this point takes a back seat to your liabilities. My observation has been it's a challenge to exceed 35 to 40% of your income with the combined total of how much you invest and the amount you are paying towards your liabilities. So if your TDS is 30%, it's likely the most you can invest is 5 to 10%. Again, there are exceptions to the rule, of course, but it's very clear families that have a lower TDS can invest more and create more wealth. One of the problems of having a TDS higher than 20% is you probably have a small balance on a credit card. This form of debt is called revolving credit, and for good reason. Does this sound familiar? Let's say you have $5,000 on a credit card. That's not a massive amount. Certainly not an amount you need to lose sleep over. The game plan is to put $1,000 a month towards it to get rid of it. A couple months goes by and you need to purchase something. You have to use the credit card because you have been using all the excess cash to pay down the credit card in the first place. So the balance goes up again and a little, but you are aggressive with getting rid of the debt as quickly as possible. But the reality is you're squeezing your cash flow as much as possible, and investing takes a back burner. It's like you're in a continuous loop that you can't get off of. You're aggressive with getting rid of your liabilities, but something always pops up that requires using credit again. The reality is your TDS might be just a little too high. Having even small amounts of money outstanding on a credit card or revolving credit is usually a sign your TDS is too high and investing is not a priority. Another problem I see families is they accelerate the mortgage and end up with an amount on their credit card. In other words, they're accelerating the mortgage that might be 3% interest while they have a few $1,000s on a credit card and might be paying 18% interest. That doesn't make sense, does it? But it's pretty common. Let me give you another example. Let's take two families that have a mortgage of $500,000 amortized over 25 years with an interest rate of 3%. Let's assume the interest rate remains at 3% for the duration. The payment would be $2,366.22 per month. The first family decides to put an extra $1,000 a month towards the mortgage. By doing this, they pay off the mortgage in 15.5 years. And at that point, they start investing what they were paying on their mortgage and put $3,366 a month into RSPs. The result was they increased their TDS up for that 15.5 years, but there was no money to invest this way. At the end of the 9.5 years of investing, assuming a 6% rate of return, they would have $515,507. The second family did it differently. They invested the extra $1,000 a month into RSPs and kept their TDS lower. At the end of the 25-year period, they would have $679,390 versus $515,507. That's before taking into account the tax deductions from the RSP contributions as well. That's an increase of $163,883 by keeping their TDS lower and investing sooner. Mark my words, your TDS and how you work with it will have a profound effect on your ability to create wealth. I don't mean to bore you to tears with a bunch of figures, but I've been doing this class now for several years, and the main focus is how to get your TDS lower and get out of the loop as quickly as possible. Seminar after seminar, I meet families with a little effort can lower their TDS substantially and getting them closer and closer to the 20% range and freeing up hundreds of dollars a month. Some of the best success stories have been helping families free up as much as $1,000 a month. By the way, if you could free up $1,000 a month and you invested for 20 years at 6%, you would have $455,518 more for retirement. Of course, you'll have to pay tax on the income from these savings. This seminar is not for people that are having problems managing debt. It's for families that want to invest more of their income on an annual basis but are in that loop I referred to earlier. You might have a mortgage, maybe some money on a credit card or a line of credit, and investing always seems to take a back burner. Check out the following videos to get more insight into the content of my seminar. Then call or email me if you would like to have me speak at your next function. Give me a call if you'd like any more information. Thanks for listening.